Would you go out there in a pond and make a rescue?
Montgomery County 911, what's the address of the emergency?
Welcome to another episode of Voices of Service. Today, we're joined by Master Firefighter Beatty and Captain Reed to talk about a program that they've started here at the department. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so
great.
You want to tell our community a little bit, you guys started this program. You want to tell them what it is, how it came to be?
Yeah, go ahead if you want to start off.
So this all came about back in July, unfortunately after the young man drowned in the pond in Gaithersburg.
Yeah.
A friend of mine came up to me and said he has somebody that I should meet, being that I'm the new director of the training academy. And one of the things we like to do at the training academy, we like to find new, inventive ways that's going to help our officers do their jobs. Once I sat down with Tim and heard his idea about our water safety survival class for officers, I just thought it was a no-brainer. We don't think of Montgomery County as being a lot of water, but when you think about ponds, pools, drainage ditches,
we do.
Some of the floodings we have when we have torrential rains, I just thought it was just a great idea for officers to have that perspective and techniques and what to expect, and even to, and what I think is so good about this program, it's not for collegiate swimmers, it's for people of all walks. In our first class, we actually had a sergeant that came and had no swim experience. And when I asked her why she was there, she said, I want to be able to save my son's life. And we're thinking of work and how we can better them on the job.
Right.
But I was like, what a great perspective that now you're getting the training to save a life and somebody that's precious to you.
Whether it's at home or here at work.
Correct.
So,
Right.
so this class is really providing officers with another tool, right,
Yeah,
to go out
absolutely.
and do our job more effectively.
Yeah, police officers are a lot of times the first on the scene for backyard drownings, cars in retention ponds, stuff like that. And my feeling is, why not give them the tools and the skills necessary to either make a rescue or rescue themselves, right? There's been instances where kids are on the ice and they fall through. Well, who's the first one there?
Yeah.
Right. So we're not making rescuers per se, but we are teaching people, like, what is your ability level? Would you go out there in a pond and make a rescue? Or would you find another way? We teach throw bags, and that's part of one of the things we do in Montgomery County, which is so cool, is after this program, we provide the throw bags to the officers that they can keep in the patrol car.
Okay.
And it's just another tool in the toolbox, right?
Right.
So we're not, like I said, we're not making rescuers per se, but we're teaching people, like, what can you do? A water awareness, safety and survival, it all comes together. There's a practical portion where we're at the pool, and then, we actually go back to the academy and we do a couple lectures, and I teach a lot of the hydrology and basic water awareness.
Understanding
I guess.
awareness,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. So it all kind of pulls together, and it's a great program, and I encourage everybody to do it because it's just great.
Now, can you walk me through a little bit of how the program is structured? Because I remember I got the email and I had that initial thought, I can swim,
Right.
but I'm not a really strong swimmer. And so my initial thought was I probably shouldn't sign up because I'm not a strong swimmer. However, I know you have squashed that idea of me. But walk me through kind of how is the class structured?
Well, we actually talked about that. The first thing we did is we realized we needed to have safety swimmers because we wanted to have that one-on-one with somebody that's not comfortable with
Right.
water. And so we reached out to officers, and this is where we get that partnership with Fire and Rescue and the police, because we do have collegiate swimmers and triathlons and stuff like that that are officers. And one thing I realized when we were doing the research is we had over 600 critical missings last year in 2024. And like you said, police are usually the first on scene.
Yeah.
We all want to save lives. That's what we signed up to do.
Yes.
But in order for them to save lives and save their own lives, because we've had 74 officers nationwide that has drowned, and that's part of his program that he's talked about over the years, because they just didn't know what they were getting into. And for them learning their abilities, and like I said, that one sergeant that didn't know how to swim, we started her in 4 feet, starting getting her comfortable, start working on techniques. You don't have to be afraid of the water, but you have to respect it.
Right.
And by the time we were done, she was diving down in 6 feet of water and getting dive bricks, and she even did a rescue swim with me because, you know, talking to her, and you just saw the confidence. And that's what we want people to understand is, like, you don't have to be a collegiate swimmer or triathlete in order to do this. We will pair you up with your individual skills, and I promise you, by the time you leave, you're going to be better.
Yeah.
That's
it's
incredible.
it's a crawl, walk, run.
Yeah.
Just with anything that we teach, you know, I want the people that can't swim.
Right.
You know, I enjoy teaching that, and the water confidence it plays a big role. We added a little bit of some breathing techniques at the end. Everybody's all amped up after doing this stuff, and it's like, hey, let's all come together in the middle of the pool. We have stressful jobs. We have stress at home. We have stress, you know, on the job, whether it be calls, you know, studying for promotion, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this not only teaches you, you know, how to help people, how to be aware of water safety and stuff like that, but it also, you know, hey, these are stressful things that come into our lives, and how do we deal with it? So it's a big picture. It's a lot more than just jumping in the pool and, hey, we're going to throw some throw bags, we're going to do some cross chest stuff. That's all in there, but it's more than that.
And I think what's so good about it is, like, for us, so often when we take classes, we're sitting in a classroom looking at a PowerPoint.
Yes.
You know, this is that practical evolution where you're out there doing it. And we've had people that have been on the department for 25 years, and when we get critiques and we want to make it better, we want their feedback. And people have said, man, at 25 years, this is the best class I've ever taken.
That's
Because
awesome.
it really assures us we're on the right path and what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we kind of adjusted it. Normally what we would do is we would do the lecture first, and then we would go to the pool. We have Fire Rescue has a great relationship with Quince Orchard Swim and Tennis Club right down the road. They allow us to use the pool pretty much whenever we want to train and stuff like that. Well, the mornings are usually better, and we were like, hey, what if we do the practical portion first and then go back to the academy? So that's what we ended up doing, and I think it works out great. You have the officers show up, we tell them to show up in a uniform that they can get wet, bathing suit underneath, and they kind of show up, and you know, the last group didn't know what to expect. A lot of people don't know what to expect.
Yes.
Like, what are we going to do, right? They showed up, and it was like, hey, when you respond to these incidents, you're not going to be in a bathing suit. You're not going to have swim goggles or a mask. You're dressed just like that.
Exactly how.
Right? So we have them show up like that, and we put them in the pool, you know, waist deep. The pool there is great. It's very shallow, goes up to about 5 feet, and then it has a diving well that goes to 13 feet.
Okay.
So for people that aren't comfortable in the water, it's perfect. It's
Right.
like, hey, if you're having issues, just stand up, right?
Right.
So it's a great facility. You know, getting the officers there. You know, it's first thing in the morning. You show up 7:30, 8 o'clock. We start. We have a little orientation, a little safety meeting, and that's, you know, we have the safety swimmers both from the police department and fire and rescue. So pairing them up together.
Yes.
We're very knowledgeable. We rescue people a lot. Police officers maybe not so much, but they give that other side, you know, like, hey, I've been on this call, or hey, I've jumped in the pool with, you know, my uniform, and this is what it feels like. Maybe try this technique. So I've never been in the pool in my uniform and boots, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of shows that side of the story.
And I know it's a lot different having shoes on in a pool, you know,
Yes.
Yeah.
than it is to go in if you're at the beach and you're
Right.
going in your swimsuit. I know on our side, I know at least one story that's come across my desk of an officer getting into the water and having to rescue somebody. And we had a difficult summer last
Yes.
year. This was something that came about. So what an amazing collaboration that you guys have created to bring this to our community.
It's awesome, and it's only getting better. You know,
Yeah.
it's going to continue
How many
to get
how many
better and
classes?
bigger.
I'm so sorry. How many
That's
classes
okay.
have you guys done so far?
We had the train the trainer,
Right.
and then we had our first class. Was it last month? We ran through eight people.
Right. This actually, session 78 will be the first recruit class to go through.
Okay.
We're going to start implementing our recruit classes to go through.
So that
And
will be
again-
in the academy.
Exactly. And again, we have 10, I talked to them, we have 10 recruits that are not great swimmers.
Mm-hmm.
I said, perfect. I laid it out what we're going to do. But once I told them about the program, man, they were ready to go right then and there. And I think this is going to be really good. Again, we're not Baltimore County, we're not Baltimore, we're not surrounded by water. But like you said, it's another tool in their tool bag that if they have to jump in and save a life, now they have that understanding, the comprehend, and the experience
Yes.
from swiftwater rescue technicians that do this
Right.
all the time in order to save lives.
And the inland flooding. I have to mention that.
Yes.
More and more, we're running these inland flooding incidents. Police officers are there, they're blocking the road or whatever. They get there, somebody's on top of the car. We talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, you're amped up, somebody's screaming for help. Are you going to go in? You know, like, we talk about how we all work together and what they can do to help us before we arrive or when we're on the scene. So it's
Absolutely.
really cool.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for being here with us.
Yeah.
I love that we're able to share with our community that we're just trying to get better and better at what we do
Yeah.
to help serve. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having
Thank
us.
And to our community, thank you guys so much for joining with us. Until next time, stay tuned and stay connected.